Live on YouTube now. All right, I think we're live. Let's see. We're streaming. This is being streamed now. The world is watching. Live on YouTube now. There we go. I have to close out YouTube because it starts playing. All right. Okay, here we go. It is. All right, check it out. Well, good morning. Welcome to our Coffee Connect.
Good morning.
We're so blessed to have Juanita and Abe with us today.
Yes,
the
awesome.
Peachies.
The Peachies.
That's right. You may have seen them on Fast Track to Marriage.
Yes.
You may have.
A few times. Yeah.
So, cheers, everyone. Coffee Connect in the middle. Yeah.
Cheers. This is some good mushroom coffee, you guys.
That's right. Milk, Organo Gold.
The organic gold, yes.
Yeah.
We love it. It's a revival in a cup. That's what mine says. Yeah.
Yours says tequila.
Oh gosh. You just don't know what I put in my coffee this morning. I need that extra boost today.
right.
You're planning on getting a little wild here.
Well, that's my cup. Wild.
Oh, I like that.
Well, so, you know, we are super pumped to have Abe and Juanita with us today. They come from North Carolina. Like, what state is that? So they drove in last night. We're doing some collaboration on some business stuff and also doing some work here. And you've got some training you're going to. You guys are always continuing your education.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
But it's always good to have you guys here. Love you.
Yeah.
They had their wedding right outside here, outside our studio or outside our house was
Yeah.
where they had their
Fun
wedding.
fact.
And we were
Fun fact.
supposed to be officiating that wedding and we kind of got a little bit sick.
Yeah.
I like a lot sick.
Yeah, we had pneumonia.
Out for a whole week.
Stayed up in your room.
Yeah, we isolated.
Yeah.
But the show must go on, so
That was-
Jesse and Adina
The word
stepped
was
in.
quarantine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we got to put the chat on because I know people like to chat. What do we do here, Chantel? You chat,
Open it.
open it, and then
No, go to the three dots.
look, I gotta
And
get
then
this
go
fixed.
everyone.
Everyone. Okay, we're gonna get this. There we go. Now you can chat with everyone, I think. Should be all right. Okay, so there's a lot of people like to see that. We kind of did a thing yesterday.
We did a thing.
We did a thing.
What kind of thing?
Connection DNA.
Loaded. We did a thing yesterday.
Connection, well, yeah, you never
Leave it
know.
to Carlos.
Spicy.
You know,
But
exaggerate.
no, Connection DNA, we worked on it. We started it.
Why do you do that?
Because it's good to like plant some seeds of what's to come. And
So the difference between personalities is Carlos likes to share everything and I like to get things done and then share.
and we're live,
Isn't
so
that
she
interesting?
can't change it.
And when we
Yeah, you're like me. I'm like, I want to do it first and then.
live, it's like I have no control over it. I'm like,
Oh, wait, I do that with him all the time. Like, wait, what are you doing?
it's a good
funny.
thing it's cute.
No, well, the bottom line is
Just
like
there.
the reason why I want to bring it up because
Yeah.
it was there's a point to it because she was super ambitious and I know that we're gonna do it, like it's gonna happen, but it's always a process. And I bring that up because of the fact that, you know, you start to recognize it's the
Reality.
80-20 rule,
Mhm.
80% planning and preparation, and then 20% implementation is really where it's at. The 80-20 rule comes in, and it was with this, and it gave her a great appreciation for what I did the first time around.
Oh, yes, I do and have had a great appreciation.
So those of you that are on our platform, school.com, Epic Your Life, you see the content. Our flagship product is Connection DNA. And so we're super pumped. I think the thing I'm most excited about is to be doing it together. Like we're both on there now.
Excited when it comes out.
Yeah. And so what happened though is like Chantel's like, we're just gonna record a bunch of the trainings. And I was like, okay, I'm all for that. Well, we got through one day, week one, session one. Because like I said, once you get into it, then we started revamping
Oh, there's a lot-
slides and
there's a lot of
updating
moving
everything and.
But listen, you gotta light a fire somehow,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was
It's a
good.
big elephant to tackle. It's a giant elephant.
It is.
And-
There you go.
and
That's my whole
If you
point.
don't take one bite at a time,
That's
Yep.
don't
40
do it.
sessions.
Yeah, it is.
Then
It's
you
a
just
lot.
don't do it.
It's like 40
What are you
days.
doing?
So check this out. I'm just gonna give you a little.
Carlos.
Watch this.
Oh, you.
I know she loves me. It's too bad.
Oh, she loves you so much.
She loves me so much.
My gosh.
That's not it.
That is so annoying.
I know.
You're going through the redoing all the content. That's
We
what
are.
you're
I
doing,
know,
like
we're
each
revamping
day.
it.
Is
Yeah,
it still like the same theme?
yeah,
or like
so our goal
week
is to
one is-
simplify it.
Simplified.
and-
So just a little sneak peek. So like this, see, isn't that cute? So it's us. That's the starting of Connection DNA. Oh, look at the face, right? Look at me. So that's our like intro.
Oh, stop
But
it.
this is getting redone.
Okay.
See, little
So-
sneak
so We're
peek.
simplifying it and enhancing it. So, Connection DNA is what,
What are the
Three.
comments? What are the
4 years old?
Yeah, it's about 3 years old.
So,
3 and almost.
I mean, the reality is we grow. We've been doing the content alongside all of you
Yep.
every week.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
It's been rebranded. It's now
been
Epic Your
rebranded.
Life.
So there's a lot of upgrades that we have been wanting to do. There's a
Yeah.
lot of stories that we want to enhance or change because we've had new ones. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's an update.
That
It
makes
is.
sense.
So.
But the
it's-
design is still gonna be the same, like we love the structure, the
Right.
fact that you can repeat it and keep repeating it and
Right.
keep repeating it, so we'll set it up the same way.
Like
Where-
Mondays is and about planning, and Tuesdays.
The Peculiar
Shaper.
Sanctuary, the power cycles of Peculiar Sanctuary will still be on Mondays. And then the focus cycles of Shapers will still be on Tuesdays, so it is still gonna be about cycles and everything.
Wednesday, the 4 faces.
Yep, that's right, which has to do with a lot of identity. So even that's been upgraded, like we know that really connects to identity. Fun fact, just because we have these discussions on here, is like more and more, like you're a great example. I'm just gonna talk about Juanita for a minute.
Okay.
See, we're live, so you can't argue. No, no, I'm the eagle up there. So we're
Oh,
realizing.
the eagle.
Yeah, the eagle. Juanita is definitely more, but I would say that's probably your first dominant face. As we're learning,
Mm.
what we're starting to recognize even more and more clients we work with is that your identity is shaped through, because we are in his image, right?
Yeah.
Which is the 4 faces. We have our own peculiarity about us, the face of man, but then there's the eagle, the ox, and the lion. Now, we've talked, and Jesse and
Mhm.
I have seen you're more of an ox like Jesse. You have that really good system, right? And you want to be structured and systematic.
Methodical.
But the eagle is really fascinating because the more that I am working with people that are eagle, it's even the way you talk to them is super important. Like it is very spiritual and very visionary and very futuristic
Yeah.
and very like what people would call woo-woo talk.
Yeah.
That you can connect to that,
But
right?
what gets you
Look, see?
excited, right?
Yeah.
Right? That's what motivates is understanding that they don't necessarily want their feet on the ground. They want to fly and soar, and they want to stay looking to the future.
Where we like to keep our feet on the ground.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Juanita would tell me this big, huge plan or dream that she has, and this
Yeah.
is what she wants,
Yeah.
and then a little later she's like, I just have no idea how to get to it. That's the eagle, the vision,
That's right. And they don't have their feet.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this. This is so fascinating. So like, even if you think about the eagle, their nests aren't even on the ground. They
Oh,
put them
yeah.
way high,
Yeah.
either on top of mountains or telephone poles or big, huge trees. Like
Mhm.
they never want to be low down.
Right.
Like I don't want to go down there with those peasants. I want to stay up here where the spirit is. Woo! And it's cool.
But it's also, a lack of desire or understanding, right? So we don't desire that which we don't
Mhm.
relate to or understand.
That's
So
right.
if, an eagle can't relate to an ox, quite literally,
Yeah.
Right, literally. yeah.
right?
But the four faces are in us. We're
Right.
created in his
That's the
image, so we
beauty.
just have to empower those and
That's
strengthen
the
them.
beauty of who we are as humans, is that we, that's why he used those. So that we can not only access the vision
Yeah.
and the flight and the spirit, but we can also be grounded
Yeah.
and diligent and faithful.
That's right.
Right?
It's the
Yeah.
balance of it.
Mm.
And that's even like the lion now. I mean, I can talk lion all day because we just want to get stuff done and we love a challenge and we think life is all about a challenge. And we think we need to challenge everyone else. Come on, get in the game. Let's
I'm a
go.
lion too.
You know, which you can, it's your secondary, but like
Yeah.
you say that to an ox and there's like deer in the headlights, right, Jesse? I mean, so many times I've challenged Jesse and he's like, okay, I'll just do what I'm told. Like a good old ox answer. Okay, I can do this. I can do this. And so, but it's also the lion doesn't want to be tamed and doesn't want to be yoked.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like,
Mhm.
unless you have understanding of balance, you got to know that it's important to be disciplined to yoke up. And when you yoke up, you're going
Right.
to get 3 times the results.
Yeah.
You got to work as a team.
And I think the beautiful thing about like the four faces, right, is to recognize that different seasons, different circumstances require different strengths,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
we can tap into them all.
Yeah.
Like there's times when, I might naturally not have the courage to do something, but I have to tap into that lion and I'd be like, okay, I gotta muster this up because I know what's in me and
Yeah.
I gotta go after it like a lion.
So you're empowering that other part of you.
It's
within yourself
intentional,
intentionally.
right?
But you also empower in each other, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pull the
Yes.
best out of each other.
And again, going back to the awareness of seasons and circumstances,
Good.
environments, right? If you're in a work environment, it may look different than a home environment.
Right.
When do you call?
Dealing with a
different faces?
3-year-old, it may look
Yeah.
different than dealing with a 25-year-old
That's true.
or not.
Now, you
If they're mature.
guys have been married 2 years this November, right?
It'll be 3.
3 years.
In this November,
Yes.
but just this past
We were-
November.
Yeah.
It's
2
been
years.
2.5 years now.
So then it was probably 2 years and 6 months or so that you guys been doing the content.
I joined 3 years ago
Okay.
and I started it.
So you started the content 3 years
Yeah.
ago.
I-
And then for you as
yeah,
well.
almost
2.5
2.5 years. I
years, yeah.
started in May of 2021.
Wow.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
that's true. It almost
And
is 3
I
years.
started talking to Juanita on June 1st of 2020.
That's awesome.
Been talking almost 3 years now.
So
Communicating, working
No,
towards
I've been
master
talking.
communication.
he's been learning woo-woo and she's been learning detailed conversation.
Right, literally.
Sometimes I'm
She's
like,
like, just be
why
vague.
are you
Just tell me
going
the
through
highlights.
all these little details? But I'm a detailed person too sometimes.
You're learning to be because you're one flesh now.
Yeah,
It is fascinating to watch, even like Jesse and Lena is another good example of that. You know, how
Yeah.
they're adapting to each other so much and becoming one flesh and
Yeah.
uniting those strengths and
You know,
skills.
that's
So
so fascinating because even my friends say I'm way calmer than I used to be. They're like, you're so calm. And we get together with some of our friends they're from the north and Indiana, and we meet in Kentucky at our other friends. And like my one friend, she thought I was so different. Then she kept trying to get me to be excited about things. And finally, by the end of the 5 days we were there, she's like, "You're coming back." I'm like,
it's
because
like, are you okay?
I
What's wrong with you?
was normally the life of the party, which I still can be, but
Right.
it was just so different. Normally, I'm just way more hyped, and I just wasn't. And she was concerned, but the thing is, he's way more excited now too.
Right.
Yeah.
more excited.
Like,
Oh my
I'm
goodness, I
I'm the
noticed that.
playful
Yeah.
one, and now he's
Yeah.
starting to tease me all the
Yeah.
time and be
This is-
playful, and so.
I've heard this saying about marriage, like how one becomes the other. So that's true in that sense.
Yeah. The uniting of the
The
two.
uniting one becomes
flesh.
the other.
Yeah.
You're more okay with being spontaneous. Well, you were kind of okay too, but now you're more.
I'm more okay with spiciness now.
You could infuse some spice in
Right.
those like.
Yeah. And I knew I wanted that anyway.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they say opposites attract, because we need it. We need the balance.
We
Yeah,
do.
subconsciously we know we
balance,
need the
right?
balance, yeah. It's
And
really
we
good.
need the stronger strengths that they have to offer.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, again, when we
Yeah.
operate more.
And I think too, with that said, like as a lion, I've had to learn how important it is, because my eagle's my secondary. So I would say that the one thing that I do is I try to always focus on looking, because I know that lion is so strong in me that then I'll work on, I know I don't need to work on that as much. Do you know what I mean by that? It comes natural.
Right.
So then I actually focus a lot more on the ox. Like, how can I
Okay.
be more like the ox? How can I have more systems? How can I be more strategic? How can I be, look at the long term versus the short term fire and go burn shit up, like the lion wants to.
Mhm.
Go set a fire, dude. Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy that it also is represented by elements, right?
Yeah.
So I bring that full circle back to Connection DNA 2.0. You can tell that it's going to be natural for us to want to do the next version, just to even like highlight some things that we've learned, and things that we've refined through this process. And I would say, the awareness of the four faces has been really, really fascinating. And our background, I've done DISC, I've done Danny Johnson's gems, we've done Bank. Bank is another personality one.
Mm.
I've done what is it?
Did you do the gifting?
Yeah, there's the.
Oh yeah,
There's
the sanguine and the
That's a different.
choleric. That's the Christian one. Do you guys
Like
remember
the
him that?
ones about
Cleric?
like
No.
all the spiritual gifts are you servant, leader, or
Right.
ruler?
Yeah.
prophet?
Okay. Yeah. Prophet, teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one too, apostle. So again, just learning different personalities and different giftings and stuff. So now to tie that in to the four faces has been really cool, and understanding it does make a lot of sense when I look at the three that are
But
Yeah.
the main ones.
I think what I love the most about the four faces is, because I've always felt this with all of the different personality trainings, is that, people will grab hold of their dominant one
Right.
and they'll just put themselves in a box.
I am this.
I am
Yep.
this,
Yeah.
and you're not speaking my language.
Right.
Right.
So therefore I can't communicate well with you. Or I am this and, they're in that, and so we can't get along.
Yeah.
And so there's excuses, and, it's both empowering and hindering
Yeah.
when
Right.
you can identify things. And I think that's why, like, the four faces is because, like, that's God given.
Mhm.
Like, he said that these are in us all, right?
Right.
And so,
It's
just-
not man-made.
yeah, so for me, it's kind of like, yeah, it's great to identify, our greatest strengths and things that we need to improve and all of those things. But recognizing that, and that's something that has always challenged me, is just being put in a box.
Yeah.
I don't see it that way. I
Right.
really truly believe that they're all in us for a reason and for a season,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
we need them.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So if we operate just limiting ourselves and who we are, and something that may be dormant.
Mm.
It may be dormant, but it's not gone. It's
Right.
Right.
not there.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And then learning the skills how to empower the other parts. Right?
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
good.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Empower
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the other
'cause,
faces.
like the season we're in right now is, I definitely need to have ox strengths with
Yeah.
some of the patients I have to like push through, and because discouragement wants to take over sometimes with all the things, but I'm like, he's constantly like, I'm amazed. He's so steady.
So consistent, steady, right?
Just like, I've seen the times where, where it was a little bit of a struggle for him too, but for the most part, you just keep getting up, you do your thing. I'm like a mess, and like, how are we going to get through this? And she's like, well, it'll be fine.
It's another day. Let's go.
Let's go.
It's crazy. So I definitely feel like I lean on you a lot more in this season, in that way of like, trusting that you're gonna push us through or whatever. You know,
Yeah,
getting us, helping us stay steady and not just like go crazy because
That's the yoke.
something's
Yeah.
missing or something's going on in my life.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, I think for there, you bring up a good point, you know, as far as men and women go, right? The
Yeah,
difference
that
between
too.
men and women,
Yeah.
right? You know,
Right.
naturally, we have a, a, an array of hormones,
Yep.
right? By design.
Yeah.
And so if we take that into account and we recognize that's the beauty of the yoke is so that, you know, when we are experiencing that, those fluctuations, because they're good,
Yeah. Definitely.
we need them,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So we can't just discount them because they're not fun.
Or push them away.
Or push them away,
Yeah.
but we need them, but also recognizing, but what the beauty of the yoke and the strength of what that looks like when we are weak and the other one is strong.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, it's a powerful picture. really.
Definitely.
It is. It's good stuff. And I think too, even the eagle, I would say the eagle strengths tend to probably flourish more in females too, I think by nature.
Mhm.
That gene is more there. I mean, the femininity,
Yeah.
because
the
there's
prophetic part or the.
Yeah,
the
more-
seed.
and the more of the intuition and the
discernment.
discernment, the
Yeah.
sensitivity,
Yeah.
right? That's the estrogen. I truly believe that there is like that extra gene then for women to be more spiritual even, which is the representation of the eagle.
Yeah.
And you know, often just to kind of reference, it's like, okay, the queen of the air, even how it's like queen, it's almost like a feminine type
Yeah.
connotation to it, which is true. Women tend, not all the time, but women tend to have that as a front, I would say, more than men. Not that it can't be men, but it's interesting to see that too in the faces. You start to see those things as well.
Mhm.
Definitely.
More of a feminine type thing, but men need it too. We all need balance. We do. We need that in us too,
Well, and I
and to be
think-
able to have the spiritual side of things is important.
I think that's somewhat, gets suppressed in
Yeah.
some relationships and
Yeah.
marriages.
Yeah.
And I think that's also another factor of why we feel like it's so important to really, you know, see the truth of what the blessing is, right?
Yeah.
Of those strengths
Right.
and being able to navigate them together collectively. Yeah.
You guys remember that
Yeah.
book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus?
Mhm.
I've heard
So,
of it, never read
I've
it.
heard a lot of it.
Yeah,
I've
it's,
never read it
it
myself.
kind of leans on that kind of stuff. I've read that book. It's been years ago, but it does talk about how women respond differently because of the femininity and men because masculinity. So it's like, oh, we have those different polarities, if you would.
Well,
And
yeah,
I can kind of see that in the faces sometimes, in the four
Hmm.
faces,
Yeah.
or the three faces, I should say. But then also love languages. I'm gonna bring that up because it is interesting how certain, again, not to put it in a box, but to be aware and be holistic of
Yeah.
understanding, oh yeah, you can see how some of the faces relate more to a certain love language. It's just fun. It's
Yeah.
fun to be able to have exposure to all these different trainings and then go like,
Hmm.
where did it originate from? Well, I do believe that if we really want to look at this, the origination, the oldest is the Torah. So we've got that Ezekiel reference of the four faces.
Mhm.
So it's like, interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like all these trainings on personalities, all these trainings on way people respond and do things. It's like strengths and all those things. I think you can bring it back to the origination of the four faces.
Yeah.
Right, because if you
Yes.
study each like animal, like the ox and the lion and the eagle, and like see how they are, you could see all of them with personality type things. That
Yeah, and
makes
I think
sense.
biblically speaking versus today, right? The pendulum has swung so far
It has.
in the
Yeah.
opposite direction,
Right.
right? We have so much, you know, where the men were so masculine
Mhm.
and the women, you know,
Right.
were definitely the keepers of the sanctuary, the home and whatnot. And then we've moved so much so in the opposite where women have,
Right.
you know, this feminine power
Yes.
and you know, the men have sort of weakened,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
in their mindset, in their even physical work, like we don't, men don't go to war. Yes, we have military who do, but not most of the population, right? We have so many people sitting behind, computers
True.
and all of those things, right? And then the women are in the workforce and the men are taking care of the kids, and you're like,
Yeah.
So I think, bringing things into balance is really important.
Absolutely.
And
And
having that awareness.
you brought up a major point a little while back about what you identify can also be a hindrance.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was amazing. I thought well stated, because women are waking up to their feminine power, but it can also be a hindrance if we don't know how to balance it now, right?
Right.
True.
With the man or with the
Mhm.
husband, with the dad. And so
Yeah.
that's what we're learning here, is the
Yeah.
balance of
Yeah.
empowering one another.
So true.
That's good.
And I think that we do that spiritually too,
Mhm.
right? We wake up to some power and then we have this bitterness or resentment towards what
Right.
we've known before, right?
Yeah,
Or even like women rising up in their power and then having bitterness against men,
right, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So the balance would be to both appreciate and validate a man for a man,
Mm.
as well as a woman in our creation, validating and owning our amazing power.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Exactly.
good.
And you can see balance throughout your word this morning, right? She had a good word this morning from Papa, which it's funny because we deal with all walks of life and all walks of clients, and it's like
It
We get-
basic.
no, but I'm telling you, like seriously, sometimes this is just real. Like you guys have been doing this a while, so we can have these real conversations with you, like, and you understand. Like I could say to Juanita, I could say, hey, you're operating in the eagle, but we also got to operate in the ox and the lion. But some people that are new, they only want to hear eagle. Only. I cannot. They're like, don't talk to me about doing the work. Don't talk to me about taking action. The work is the ox, the action is the lion. Just tell me about the woo-woo. Where's the spirit?
Because God made me this way.
Right? And it's
God
so
made the
interesting
eagle, right?
So
because
then if you're encouraging them to take action, they're like, oh, but you don't operate in the spirit.
yeah.
That's-
No, we've been told
Oh, I
that.
promise you.
I know.
So it's like, do you got to do the work though?
Yeah.
And that's why it's so cool to see the eagles always up in the air, which is good. It's super good. Oh yeah. Oh,
But the last few
Dude.
drops there.
I know.
Two.
Oh dang. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
It'll come up.
Anyways,
the coffee is over. Does that mean the coffee connection is over?
no, I still have it on my shoulder, so we can keep going.
Oh,
What are
okay.
Well, so my point is like then that verse. So there's always the balance. You can always see the four faces if you look. See, what was your verse today? Your letter from Papa.
Faith without action is dead.
And that's the thing. So we've got this is powerful because it's real. Like you can almost see the faces in that verse.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Faith is the eagle, right? It's like you got to have the faith to see 50 miles away,
Yeah.
right? And see the target so many miles away. The ox can't see that. The lion can't see that. They're not even up in the air to see that.
That's right.
But then their ox is going to do the work. Day fundamentals. The little things done well. Whoa. And then the lion's like, let's go, keep going, let's go. The enthusiast one and like the inspiration, like
Yeah.
faith without works is dead. Hello, we're going to die if we don't keep going.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You've got each one there.
Yeah.
The faith is the eagle. The works is the ox. And the dead is like the lion saying, let's go.
Yeah.
We got to put some life into this, right?
So what you're really saying is that verse says the eagle without the ox is death.
Well, and
Is that what you're
the lion would be the one that would declare it. Let's go, guys. We can't die here. We got to keep going, right?
Yeah.
It's all
It's the
three in
balance.
that. And it's really fascinating because I do now when I see verses and different things, I'm like, wow, I
Good
could
point.
literally see the three faces intermingling in that verse.
That's really good.
That it doesn't take you don't just say it takes faith. No, you can't say that. That's not, there's more to the verse than that.
Yeah.
You've got to have the action, but you also got to have, and sometimes the lion does tell the truth that stings. I'm serious. I know she tempers me a lot. And a lot of people are like, well, Carlos, maybe we could do a tempered version to that. And I'm like, well, you're probably right. And I truly, then I have to sink back and go, okay, what would the eagle say?
Bring it in a little bit.
How would the ox say it? And I calm down. Let's talk slower.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny how
That's funny.
and the eagle just doesn't want to talk about real. They just want to talk about the future and what could happen.
What could.
And I find myself doing that because that's my secondary for sure. And so I will. And so then I'm really about like,
I would say actually when I met Carlos, he operated more from the eagle.
oh, for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The lion had to be resurrected.
True. It was
So
suppressed.
now
It was
lion-
caged.
Now lion is the primary.
No,
It was caged.
it's uncaged.
Uncaged.
Well,
Then you had to cage it back in a little bit.
well, and it's
No, we
interesting.
just have to finesse
Steward it well.
Well, so
We have to finesse
this
it.
is really crazy because we were talking about this, like Chantel, when we got married and got together, she was super lioness and I didn't even realize it. And all the times that we were talking about this, I was like, well, you know, you're more of a pearl, like going back to the gems,
go.
right? But that would be considered even like an ox, if you would. And so she was like, really? But the more we studied, I realized during that time she was definitely the lion that was driving us and keeping us moving forward. And we do find different situations where she definitely leads with the lion. The funny story is even like when we travel, like I become this playful eagle and like a kid, and Hazel and I just mess around and like she's like, we gotta get this done. Let's go. We gotta beat traffic, so we gotta be leaving at 3 a.m. And I'm like, golly, you know, 3 a.m. Come on, like, what happened? I like to sleep in when it's vacation time.
All of a sudden, that other part of you is coming out the other
Right.
face.
It's amazing
It's
how
amazing
it
how that works.
switches
Yeah.
instantly.
You have a lot of eagle in you though, too.
Yeah.
I definitely see
When it
that.
comes to traveling,
Well,
or how do you mean?
sometimes you're just not in a hurry.
Or relax, chill, and
Well, he's also an ox too. An ox is just steady.
slow and steady.
Slow and steady.
There's one of the personality tests that says, are you a time person or a task person? A task person will do anything to get the work done, don't care if they're late. A time person will be on time no matter if the work's done or not.
Yeah.
Like if you need an appointment, you're gonna be there.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
problem, the
Yeah, we
struggle
got
is, we're both task people. So
Like to
we
get the job
actually
done.
struggle with being on time with appointments and things
Uh-huh.
because it's like,
Gotta
oh,
finish it.
last night, just before we left, all of a sudden we had like a dozen things to do yet. And I'm like, we gotta go. But it's like, oh, I need to do this yet. And this, and I was doing it too. And I'm like, oh my God. We can't do this anymore. We have to learn how to be on time.
Yeah. We have to-
It's
we
all
have to
part of the
create a different
process.
kind of motivation.
But that's where even the content comes in of like
Yeah.
teaching you how to like.
Time management.
Time management. That's probably our
Or
biggest.
making a list, this is what needs to be done before this certain time.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
I think that's where the pregame is really helpful. A pregame of tasks and priorities and, you know what I mean, so that you are able to stay on time.
That's good.
Speaking of time, it's time for our next meeting. They're reminding us.
Oh,
He reminded you 10 minutes ago.
That's awesome.
who is
Look
this?
at that.
Oh, well, we,
5 minutes, 6 minutes ago.
All
Yes, we're
right.
waiting.
what time is it?
So Coffee Connect. No, it's good. This was fun. We're glad you guys joined us. Thanks for joining us today.
Joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having.
And
That's fun.
you know, keep tuning in. We're having some fun with these Coffee Connects, and see you next time.
Yeah.
Speaking of
I
time.
need to wash your shirt.
Bye.
Peace.
Blessings. Love you guys.